Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Black Clover, The Sword of the Wizard King. Now, the Black Clover anime series started in 2017 and was almost instantly seen as an unworthy successor to a lot of other Shonen Jump titles. Mocked and ridiculed by almost everyone who watched it due to its terrible start and its annoying main protagonist, Asta. But as the series went on, it found more love from people for its incredible animation, its improved character development throughout, and by genuinely combining all the great things we love about Shonen Jump series and putting them all into one show. And this movie generally does that when it comes to Shonen Jump movies, making it for a fast-paced, well-animated, exciting, and even somewhat thought-provoking animated film. It's no masterpiece, but it is pretty brilliant. Well, let's get to the story, shall we? The story revolves around Conrad Leto, played by, played by Chris Niosi, who was basically the previous Wizard King before Julius Novachrono. After being sealed away by Julius, he ends up returning after the Elven invasion of the original series, and he ends up resurrecting three other Wizard Kings to help him destroy the Clover Kingdom so he can end the cycle of constant prejudice that comes from the royals who treat those without magic power or with barely any as basically forsaken second class citizens at best and people who just die in the slums at worst. But of course, they're well intentioned extremists, so our heroes have to fight off Conrad and the other Wizard Kings as Austin and his pals get to go through a bunch of action scenes to try and bring them down. So you have to be a fan of Black Clover to understand or get the most out of the movie, especially since it glosses over several events that occurred in the series because the people who made this movie clearly expect the people to watch it to be very familiar with the source material. Thankfully, there are many who are familiar, so that shouldn't be a problem for those who are interested. And Studio Pierrot certainly can deliver some amazing animation when it comes to the big epic fights, and that's no exception here. These are some of the best fights I've seen them animate in a while, and that's saying something, as I've seen both their best fights from the original Black Clover series, as well as the best fights they've had from the Bleach Thousand Year Blood War arc. It's clear that some very talented people worked on this movie to make the action scenes exciting, impactful, and quite varied, as every single Wizard King is a different type of magic and a different way they handle it. And if you're a big fan of characters like Mario Leona, or Noel Silva, or Charmy, or Henry, or Ghosh, or Gordon, or any of the other cast members, you're probably going to be very excited because almost every single one of the major and minor cast members gets a moment to shine. It's an absolutely enormous cast to juggle, but they all get their moments. But of course, the focus is where the focus should be, on Asta and Conrad. I do think that Conrad is an interesting villain when it comes to his motivations and when it comes to his key magic that allows him to take other people's magic and use it for his own benefit. And with him even being able to use combinations of different kinds of magic in the climax. But it does feel like when it comes to him and the other Wizard Kings, we don't get to learn too much about them to humanize them enough to make them actually sympathetic. They seem to have good motivations, but at the same time, they go too far, which is why they have to be stopped. It's a common villain archetype, but it works well enough for a movie, the way I see it. Also, if you aren't familiar with the manga leading up to the Devil's Trial, you're going to be lost in a few areas. So it is a movie that does take a lot of homework in order to understand. But for those who do all the homework, it's definitely a movie that should work for fans of the series and should definitely get you feeling like you've surpassed your limits. So that's why I'm giving Black Clover The Sword of the Wizard King an 8.5 out of 10. See you next time.